number of dark entities called Muse seem to stem from a foreign alien-like larger being called the Mother. The evil organization behind it all having a decoy company made covering their acts called Happy Meat Farms, a supposedly humane farming company, perform all sorts of corrupt experiments, forcing content creators to advertise them as a trustworthy company, assigning them each their own muse to be their source of inspiration, providing them with scripts and ideas that would give them large-scale recognition and views, even if they are miserable and not happy with the content. Hi folks, I'm R, and welcome to the video. Make sure to watch the last video I made about the HR orientation video of Happy Meat Farms, and also the genome modification video to get updated on what has happened so far, as I won't cover the same information in this video. Thanks to a video uploaded by Inside a Mind titled The SpongeBob Theory channel has Hidden Lore, we learn the backstory of what is going on as the full image. Alex Bale, the creator behind this place, is not happy. His own channel and a few other ARG channels displays how he had an entity in his garage whom he fed with Publix meat, a name that appears in the email inbox of another creator called Mark, the Cynical Critic, who seems to also have a similar entity in his house. In exchange of being fed, this entity would provide Alex with scripts of his most successful series, the SpongeBob conspiracy videos, which got him millions of views. As time passes on, Alex realizes that he went to film school to showcase his creative skills in making movies rather than making theory videos. Not that he hated it, but he felt that he could also focus on what he was most passionate about and not to feel creatively limited.
Hey, just want to let you know that I think I'm gonna take a break from the SpongeBob videos for a little bit. It's not you. I mean, the videos are great. People love them. It's just, I think I want to go back to making actual films for a bit. Okay then. Thanks for everything. I guess I'll just see you around.
When I found you were unnoticed and unloved, but now you have millions of views, you have sponsors. Why would you forsake them?
I just, I don't want to really make these videos forever, I don't want to be known as the SpongeBob Guy.
My boy, you really think they will care about your little films? I am your muse. I have given you the gift of knowledge. If you wish to go back to anonymity, then be my guest. But I know who you really are.
Despite this entity's demands, called Muse, as Alex creates his short movies, he only racks up a small number of views, much less than what he would get from SpongeBob conspiracy videos. With the pressure of his SpongeBob series fans and a random film critic called the Cynical Critic critiquing his filmmaking abilities, Alex goes back to Muse, begging it for more SpongeBob scripts.
That was probably nothing.
There's no tension, the pacing is slow, it fundamentally fails as a film. Alex, go back to making SpongeBob Theory videos. No one wants to see your awful horror films. I've been your host, the one and only Cynical Critic. Remember to stay cynical. See you later.
Hey, listen, that theory was awesome. You know, I don't know how you keep coming up with these, but I mean, they're great. And listen, you were totally right. You know, the people want SpongeBob Theory, so who am I to ignore them? So, thank you.
Muse, witnessing Alex's despair and need for more recognition, forces him to do something unimaginable. This leads to the point where Muse asks Alex for live animals, which at first Alex adheres to, but has a quick change of heart when he brings a rescue cat home, noticing how he couldn't possibly let the cat die. Going to confront his Muse and breaking the deal, he realizes that the Muse has already devoured the cat.
What did you do?
My boy, I took what you brought me.
No, but I changed my mind. I didn't give you the cat.
This horrifies Alex as he bonded with a cat called Gary, which draws the line for him, trying to put a stop to this monstrous entity. Researching on how he could get Muse out of his house, he realizes that he's no match for this entity, something that lives not only in his house but also in his mind and self. He starts feeling defeated until one of his friends called Victoria, a junior film student, notices his change of mood, going to his house to check on him. Victoria, despite being a junior film student, is immensely successful, creating commercials. Regardless, she explains to Alex that it's not something she's passionate about and that she hopes to eventually make her own movies.
Yeah, but I didn't go to film school to make commercials either. It's just something I'm doing for now. I like SpongeBob Theories.
When in the house, Alex becomes worried that his Muse might have hurt her. As she disappears for some time, when in a turn of events, she comes out of the bathroom, informing Alex that she has a Muse of her own, bringing the story to a halt for now until more videos are released by Alex.
Cannot be here right now.
No, I am not leaving until you tell me what's going on.
Listen, I promise I will explain everything to you later. You cannot be in here.
Why are you so afraid of me being in your house?
Victoria, I promise you, this is not the time. We have to leave right now.
Your Muse isn't gonna eat me!
What? You mean the big tentacle monster in my basement?
Yeah.
How do you know about that?
I have one too.
On the other side of the story, Mark, known as the Cynical Critic, alongside his good friend Anthony Williams, create a channel together in order to talk about movies, something that they are truly passionate about. However, as seen through some of his emails, they have a fallout as Mark decides to take a complete different turn and blatantly talk against the general opinions and outlook on movies. He would bash movies that are considered great in order to gain more views and get more attention. It's only revealed through some of his videos, through telltale signs, that he, just like Alex and Victoria, has his own Muse, which pressures him into creating certain content that he's not necessarily passionate about, but content that would surely get him more views.
So my Parasite review blew up, which is crazy. I think it's at about 45,000 views. I mean, it's nuts. It's really awesome. I've never had views like that before on a video.
For him, the leverage seems to be his sick mother, who had her health insurance denied, putting him in a desperate situation into adhering to his Muse's demands, despite being miserable and sad. A channel called Sunk the Blue Rat, superficially created for kids, indirectly threatens and manipulates Mark into doing what the Muse wants, reminding him about his sick mother and how she would suffer and not afford treatment if Mark doesn't do what it wants, making more eye-catching videos just for views, something he clearly doesn't agree with.
Are you sad because everyone hates you, you're all alone, and the guilt is making you horribly depressed? Don't worry, friend, I can help you. When I get sad, I just remember these 5 simple words. It could always be worse. It could always be worse.
It even seems that they provided the insurance for his sick mother, essentially putting Mark and his mother at their mercy. Mark even praises a bad film called The Paradox Files, seemingly acquired by the Happy Meat Farms organization, an evil organization linked to the Muses that control these creators. I have already talked in depth about the shady organization of Happy Meat Farms, which conducts unethical and cruel experiments on animals and humans, experimenting with a foreign DNA sample from an entity called the Mother, who also seems to be held captive by HMF. The organization has carried out several projects, with two being known as the Chimera Project, the current project of experimenting on humans and animals in order to cause significant growth, and another older project called the Vulnerability Project, which caused several disease outbreaks worldwide, making many people sick and vulnerable, so that the organization can create a new world order. The organization seems to be a covert, evil entity performing unethical and inhumane operations, having a cover-up of being a humane farming company. Happy Meat Farms, just to show how powerful the Muse is to Mark, Mark's friend Anthony disappears as seen through the summaries of emails he received, just for him to reappear in his most recent videos, while acting very strange, manipulating Mark and even having a different name, Antonio, just being a representation of Anthony, keeping a close eye on Mark.
Take a look at this drawing that Mark drew when he was a kid. Just because it's got big eyes, that doesn't make you want to sympathize or root for the character.
Wait, where did you get that?
I mean, honestly, I hope every animated movie gets a live-action remake, just so they can stop this boring form of storytelling. Don't you agree, Mark?
Yeah.
Mark is clearly seen to how miserable he is and how he doesn't want to do what he's doing. But he is ultimately pressured and pushed into it, with Antonio taking the place of his friend who's now disappeared, threatening him and manipulating him in front of the camera, bringing his mother up repeatedly.
So if these shows aren't for kids, but they also aren't for adults, who are they for, Mark? Mark, who are they for?
They're for adult man babies who never grow up and want to pretend like they don't still watch kids shows.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
The Muse, having the dictionary meaning of a person or an entity that is the source of inspiration for someone, quite literally acts as a dark force that drives the creators into creating, even though majority of the time it's not what they want to do. The muse or the inspiration seems to come from need and despair in the scenario. For Alex, his views are important. Without them, he can't afford rent and pay for bills. Also, he feels useless and unseen without making his SpongeBob series. For Mark, who didn't care about money and was simply passionate about movies, his mother was used as leverage and her poor medical health, hence why he needed the money to support her. He is constantly reminded of what a selfish and useless son he is as well, not taking care of his sick mother, and that things could always get worse, forcing him into making content he doesn't like.
You could lose all of your wind. Your insurance could just end. You could get pushed off the roof. They could find out the horrible truth.
And for Victoria, it's still not revealed, but she seems to be somehow pressured into making commercials as well. As mentioned by her, making commercials is not what she likes, but something she does for now. The official website of Happy Meat Farms indicates that they started sponsoring up-and-coming creators from 9th of July 2021, putting the channels of Alex Bale and the Cynical Critic in the hyperlinks. They both even were sponsored by Happy Meat Farms organization, depicting that they are indeed controlled by them. The shows had the intent to advertise themselves and possibly get public funding and change public's mindset about themselves, letting them carry out their immoral experiments without much resistance. The Muses are each individual source of inspiration, whether being money, sick parents, or other things, pushing the creators do what gains the most amount of views so that they advertise their own organization on their channels. Alex clearly gets his scripts from the Muse, with them being provided to him in a glass bottle, and Mark also reads off scripts, seemingly from his own Muse, that he's not too happy about. He even looks as if he's in excruciating pain in his most recent videos. His Muse is not shown as clearly as Alex is, but it does show signs of being present, with his back door opening, a gooey substance leaking from his ceiling, his physical health getting worse, and also being observed from behind by an entity in the Sunk the Blue Rat video. The Muse can be referred to as both a figurative and literal entity. Figurative in a way that the source of inspiration of doing something nowadays is driven from the need of survival. Or in other words, the money. We wake up each day going to a 9-to-5 job, often not liking what we do, or create content that we're not fully passionate about, just to pay the bills. So Muse could be figuratively seen as the representation of despair and need, or a dark source of inspiration. This dark entity, however, takes a lot more than it gives. It puts our morality into question, our self-respect, our desires and sense of freedom. Also, if seen as a literal entity, it seems to be part of a higher and more powerful entity referred to as the Mother, all being part of a hive mind organism, being connected to the source. It takes a lot and slowly requires more and more in return for some monetary gains. As I mentioned in the previous video, the Mother, despite what she might be portrayed as in the beginning, glitches in the leaked videos, saying that she's not part of the organization and not to feed them the meat, seemingly talking about the Project Vulnerability, where people were fed infected meat to get sick and sustain chronic illnesses. I believe that the organization whether experimented on a person to create the Mother or found an alien having out-of-this-world DNA. As mentioned on the website, she has foreign DNA, and the organization holds her captive and uses her in order to extract her DNA and experiment with it. They used her DNA on meats, which caused worldwide disease outbreaks, making people sick. Their new project is even more aggressive, experimenting on live humans and animals, which causes them to severely deform and become hostile. Mother seems to be held captive, with her DNA being extracted without her will, being labeled as such, as all of the creations and abominations trace back to her, coming from her DNA. The Muses seem to also have been created from her, as they seem to share resemblance in shape and appearance. They all have large black tentacles and leak black gooey substance. They crave meat as well, as they are fed by their creators. Mother seems to be desperate for food and not having any other choice than to feed on what she has provided, something she doesn't want to do, but is ultimately forced to. But the Muses, on the other hand, seem to have been programmed to control their content creators, as seen to how they provide them with creative scripts and ideas, while they require food, which could potentially lead to more slowly. That's it for today's video, folks. I'm really looking forward to more Alex Bale videos, so maybe we could unravel the big mystery behind them. It's been your host Star, thanks for being here, and I will see you on the next one.